the years, I've found that I'm a fan of many different types of shooters. Fast-paced, adrenaline-filled shooters, slower, more team-based shooters, and even ones that could be classified as downright boring. And no, I don't mean that as an insult to these slower games, because the game we're talking about today is a slower-paced game. Squad. A great, boring game.
What the fuck? How dare you say Squad is boring? It's great.
You didn't even watch the video. It just started.
I don't have to because you're a fucking idiot.
Okay, thank you, Internet. Just listen for a minute, and if you like what you hear, share this video. Oh, and post it on MySpace and set it as your top friends. God, remember that shit? That was just designed to start fights. Squad came out recently on Steam's Early Access, and I decided to jump on it after seeing a few videos about it online. It can be best described as a tactical, realistic simulation squad-based shooter, along the lines of Arma and Arma 2 and Arma 3. As you can see, I don't know much about military sim games, but anyways, what sets Squad apart for me and continues to bring me back to the game is its squad communication. Ha ha ha, that's the name of the game, but seriously, it is one of the main selling points of the game. It is a well put together shooter that runs pretty well for an early access game, and definitely has a solid set of core mechanics to it, with more features on the way. But a lot of shooters can claim that. What they can't claim is a structure and community that encourages total communication between players to be any kind of successful. In Squad, your teams are split up into squads, but unlike Battlefield, there's multiple different ways for you to communicate with the people around you. You can talk to people right next to you with proximity chat, which is a much more relaxed way to communicate. Then there is squad chat, which is primarily for the important shit like calling out enemy positions, calling for a medic, and coordinating strategies. And if you're squad leader, which I haven't dared to do yet, you can communicate with all the other squad leaders and set up coordinated attacks. All this, along with the realistic nature of the game's combat, leads to a real sense of camaraderie between players.
Billy Mays needs a medic. Billy, we haven't got a medic in our squad. Why in the hell do none of them? What is wrong with you guys? Why wouldn't we have a medic in our squad?
Speaking of realistic combat, yeah, you're gonna die in 1 or 2 hits. Friendly fire is on, but surprisingly isn't a huge problem in the community. And falling from a few feet above the ground is going to hurt, or kill you. Also, it strangely has crouch jumping. That's something a lot of older games used to have, where the player would jump, but at the top of their jump they could crouch and reach slightly higher ledges. See? Like that? Yeah, so Squad is basically a sim game, and if you've ever played one of those before, you know there's a lot of downtime. A typical match will start with everyone picking a squad, saying hello, coming up with a basic game plan, and then both teams spawning at their base. After this, it's a good trek to the first objective, because these maps are fucking huge! But it's these few minutes of briskly sprinting and then slowing down that you get to know the guys or girls you're with. Once you get to the objective, the building starts, which is actually a really cool part of the game. The squad leader can place down things like ammo stations, as well as build walls, bunkers, ladders, and other stuff like that, but he only lays down the plot of land where it will be, and it's up to the rest of the squad to pull out their little flip shovels and start building. Now this is where I wanted to talk about multiplayer pacing, and again, I like all these games, it just depends on the mood I'm in that day. But there are some clear advantages and disadvantages to all of these genres of shooters. Fast-paced action arena shooters like your Call of Duties, Unreal Tournaments, and even Halo I would throw into there, are about constantly throwing combat at the player. In these games, you will usually have a very short or instant respawn time because the idea is to get you right back into the action with no break, no time to breathe. Maps and spawns are designed to funnel players into confrontations quickly. Honestly, these are the reasons Black Ops 3 was one of my favorite multiplayer shooters of 2015. It was just really well designed. I don't care what the name is on the box, if it's well designed, it's well designed, that's it. Anyways, because these games are so fast paced, it's not uncommon to hear people say they can get their fill of these games in a short amount of time. These games I tend to play when I just want a few matches of something without dedicating myself to a 45-minute long match of something. Then there are those games in the middle, those games with a slower pace but still pretty action-packed. I would put games like Battlefield, Rainbow Six, Counter-Strike, and PlanetSide 2 in this section of games, anything like that. There are clear design decisions made in these games to slow down the pace of the game. There are often long respawn times, making the players wait after their deaths so there isn't a constant flow of spawning enemies. Or these games have no respawns, but the matches go by quickly so you can hop right back into a new round. These games tend to emphasize teamwork, allowing players to work together with things like defibrillators or vehicles that let people move together. These games can offer a deeper experience than previously mentioned in high-octane games, but still remain tense and mostly high in action. Now, the disadvantage these games can have is that there's action all the time, non-stop, and this can make the moment-to-moment gameplay become repetitive. Fighting another player in Call of Duty or even Battlefield boils down to shooting at each other for a few seconds and moving on. Meeting a player is no longer a big event, and players can become numb to the whole experience. I think that's why we focus on crazy things like 360 no-scopes and rendezvous, because the simple act of fighting someone happens so often. Then we come to games like Squad and Arma, and even survival games like H1Z1, Rust, and even Minecraft, really. These games are often very slow-paced in their design, with lulls between big action moments reaching upwards of 10 minutes or more. Like in Squad, a lot of your time is spent waiting, hanging out with your new friends, working on some basic base building stuff and basically waiting to get shot at. As far as pacing goes, I feel like it's a pretty good sim. Now, I've never been in the military, but I see silly videos from people in the military all the time. These videos tell me one thing: soldiers have a lot of downtime, kinda like in this game. I don't mean that in a bad way, and if anyone in the military can correct me, please do. But to me, it feels like something I can compare it to the film industry. Hurry up and wait. You can relax a bit here or there, but when it's time to take action, you're ready. But that's what Squad feels like to me. Chill out until shit hits the fan and it's on. The other type, survival games, are all about wandering around and picking up a thing here or there. Or gathering materials until that eye-opening moment when you spot another player. Hello, friendly player. Would you like to work together and... Why do I keep trying to have hope in humanity? Should I just give up at this point? Now, while military simulator or simulator type games in general have been around for ages, they were often seen as boring to many players. But in the multiplayer space over the past few years, it seems like trends have led to these types of games becoming more widely accepted. In the past, multiplayer games were mostly seen as fast-paced action, but new games today have shown that people can still have fun with slow-paced adventure. Survival games like DayZ, Rust, and H1Z1 have become extremely popular, along with shooters like the Arma series and now Squad. People enjoy them despite them seeming boring at times. So if these games aren't filled with action, what are they filled with? Anticipation, or dread, depending on how you feel about enemies around the corner. Basically, these games have a build-up, which is usually something you would hear about in a single-player story or movie. But in this case, it works the same way. Because in a game like Squad, enemy encounters are so rare, and because you are so fragile, it's always tense. Every moment builds up to the next encounter, and that's what keeps games like this exciting. At least for me, this is a general overview of these types of games. Some people play for the mechanics, or the building, or just to troll other players, but I play for the anticipation. So basically, I played Squad and was surprised at how much fun I had with it. It seems like I play games like I listen to music, depending on the mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I tend to listen to happy music. If I'm sad, sad music. You get what I'm saying. So with games, it's the same way. If I feel like some quick action, I'll jump on Call of Duty or Team Deathmatch in Battlefield 4. And if I have more time and feel like getting engrossed in a game, well, it looks like I'm playing Squad. I like all these games, but there's some people who don't, and that's fine as well. I say this to get across a message I seem to be arguing a lot in the YouTube comments. Just because you don't like something doesn't make it garbage or trash, and I think that's a way more gamers should think. The games industry and the world in general, yeah, we're getting that deep, would be better if arguments didn't end at, "You are the stupidest fucking idiot I've ever seen. You like this thing I don't? Fuck you." Where's my soapbox? Can someone throw that on the screen? Thank you. There you go. Next time, instead of writing something or somebody off because they don't agree with you, talk to them. Figure out why they enjoy something you don't. And instead of more hate on the internet or in the damn world, maybe that can lead to some understanding. Alright, this video took a weird turn. Squad is cool, multiplayer game pacing is neat, and we're gonna change the world through YouTube comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button to support the show and subscribe to the channel if you're not. Also, guys, if you're interested, come hang out at the CSN Twitch stream every Friday and Sunday. Every time I mention it in a video, I get a few people that pop in saying, "Hey, I didn't know you streamed." Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. You stayed all the way after the end credits? Oh, thank you so much. Between you and me, you're my favorite. Not in a weird way, just thank you.